Hey, welcome or welcome back. It is as always good to see you today. It is Sunday morning in my world, and we are going to be looking at one of Destiny's videos from 2016. This one is titled Spilling the Truths of 2016 Part 1. So this video was like 51.5 minutes long or something. So we're only going to look at a few bits of it here and there that I thought were maybe the most interesting tidbits of information that she shared. So if you want to watch the whole thing, you can of course go watch it on Destiny's channel, or I'm sure other people have covered other sections of it. So again, I was not around for the Destiny era, so I don't know a lot of details about all the drama and everything that went on with them and around them at this time. But Destiny is giving us a timeline of the relationship, so I will maybe get caught up. And there are some things that I do know that have come up in the time that I have been watching Amberlynn and covering her. So, some of these little controversies that I may not be familiar with will be coming up in Destiny's videos though. So, all that being said, let's go ahead and get into it. So the first thing I'm going to talk about here is one of the first things that she brings up in the video, and that is the roommate situation. So Amberlynn and Destiny were living with a roommate. This roommate was also Libby's sister. And this is the roommate that came home late one night and accidentally let Gracie out of the apartment. So this roommate had decided to move out of the apartment with Destiny and Amberlynn and in with her boyfriend. But she had promised she would continue to pay rent until Amberlynn and Destiny could figure something out. Apparently, she started getting behind on her rent, and Amberlynn and Destiny were almost evicted for it.
That also started our roommate drama, with our roommate moving out and moving in with her boyfriend, and her saying until we found another roommate, basically, that she would pay her part to try to be fair, but she ended up getting really behind on it, so we just figured it out for ourselves. We did get close to an eviction, trying to wait on our roommate to get her crap together, basically. And then we just ended up figuring it out and doing it.
So in this situation, it's, in my opinion, trying to rely on somebody else that doesn't live there isn't the best idea. But if they were all friends, they may have thought that she was trustworthy and would do her best to stay on top of things. But apparently that wasn't the issue. I don't know if they continued to be friends with this person. I know they were friends with her sister, but I don't know. So the next thing we have a little bit later, Destiny addresses the claim that she was a feeder. I know a lot of people have thought, oh, Destiny's a feeder. She's just feeding Amberlynn and she gets off on it. She likes to see Amberlynn get fat. Destiny addresses this.
I'm not a feeder. I don't know. I think she talked about that at one point, saying something about people were saying I was. I'm not. I get no satisfaction out of seeing someone eat.
She doesn't address it much, but she does address it and says that she was not a feeder and she gets no pleasure from watching somebody eat. So that's that. We learn also that Amberlynn just apparently has a nasty attitude in general and is just not a pleasant person to be around, I guess.
Amberlynn did have a very bad attitude just in general. Just with anything, like if she wasn't kind of getting her way, if it just wasn't going the way she wanted to do it. Like, this was as long as I've known her, not just when we were together and even after. So
I'm sure we've kind of seen this off and on throughout, where she kind of has kind of a entitled, just kind of bad attitude towards people in general. And here we have Destiny confirming it. I think Amberlynn probably doesn't see it, and that could just be how Amberlynn is. She could just be a straightforward, blunt person, and that could just rub a lot of people the wrong way. Not sure, but apparently she just has a bad attitude. We also learned that Amberlynn started Weight Watchers in January, and Destiny addresses the issue of her riding the scooters, the mobility scooters in Walmart with Amberlynn. And she says she did it because Amberlynn was embarrassed to ride them alone, so Destiny rode one also, so Amberlynn wouldn't feel embarrassed.
Um, and we went to Walmart incredibly too much. I really don't understand why we went to Walmart so much. It's ridiculous. And then about me riding the carts in Walmart, I rode them when I was with her because she was embarrassed riding them by herself. So she would make me ride one too to make her feel better.
Now, I know that I'd heard through the last year and a half, 2 years, whatever, that either Amberlynn or Destiny, one or both of them, had said that when they were at Walmart, it was late at night and nobody else would need the scooters, so Destiny riding one wasn't an issue. But I do know there were some rumblings in the community about people wondering, why is Destiny doing this? She's taking a scooter away from somebody that could need one. And that was what was addressed about it, that it was late and nobody would need one. We get a little bit of a tidbit on Amberlynn's vegan phase.
She goes through a vegan phase. It didn't last very long, and towards the end of it, she was just eating Fritos and Oreos because technically they're vegan.
I will say that when I was in college, I had a few friends that were vegan and they ate a lot of chips and salsa. That was kind of their main food source, was chips and salsa, because it was vegan. So, Amberlynn living on, Fritos and cookies. I guess that works. So then we have some information about when Destiny and Amberlynn were working together at the, the assisted living facility. I guess somebody had written in to the manager that Amberlynn was vlogging inside the facility. And I don't know what Amberlynn said about this, but Destiny confirms that the boss basically laughed it off and thought it was funny and she didn't care. So my best guess is that people thought that Amberlynn was lying about this and that the manager didn't laugh it off. So Destiny does address this.
This is also around the time our boss got a letter from a subscriber about about Amberlynn vlogging at work. She really did laugh. She thought it was hilarious. She didn't know that we had been doing YouTube or that Amberlynn had been doing it. And it cracked her up. She just said sometimes people have nothing better to do with their life and probably just wanted to see the reaction out of it.
Okay, next we have, I do remember hearing about people thinking that Amberlynn had kind of an inappropriate relationship with Libby, that maybe she had a crush on her, was being inappropriate. Destiny pretty much shuts that down.
We talked about Libby's age and the relationship we had with her. I know some people try to say that Amberlynn had a thing for Libby. She did not see Libby like that. They were just very close.
So then they've decided to move to Kentucky at some point with Destiny's mother. So they need to tell their current apartment's leasing office that they're going to be moving out. Apparently they have to give a 90-day notice instead of just like a 60-day or 30-day notice, which they had missed, which started to cause some issues. But the complex was also supposed to notify them when their 90 days was hit so they could notify the complex if they were staying or leaving. Apparently the complex did not do that. So this apartment also seemed to have a lot of flooding issues after a storm came through, and they ended up having to move everything out of one of the bedrooms into the living room because it was flooding so often and so much. And apparently the leasing office, all they did was put in like fans and humidifiers to dry it, and then mold started growing. So in my opinion, the flooding and the mold issue are absolutely grounds for being able to break a lease with or without a 90-day notice, because having mold growing, you don't know what kind of mold it is. It's a health issue. Having it flooding, they should have had renter's insurance, so if anything of theirs was damaged, they could possibly get it replaced. But it seems like kind of a shady apartment complex in my opinion, so it was a good thing they left there.
This is also when we tried to say that we thought our lease was going to be up I think it was May 7th. And we were going to just put everything in storage and stay with my grandma. But when we went to put in our notice, they tried to say that we had to have a 90-day notice. And I was kind of upset about that. So I called my dad just because he knows a lot of stuff about that kind of stuff. So I called him, talked to him about it. He came down there and he said, first of all, I've never heard of you having to really do a 90-day, like notice that you're going to be moving out. Maybe 60, but it's usually like around 30. He was like, and he did say it was our fault for not paying attention, but he also said it said in our lease that they were supposed to notify us when there was 90 days left, and they did not. So it was also their fault. Our apartment flooded really bad at this point too, and we were talking to them right after this and explaining that we didn't really need to be in that apartment, but we didn't have anywhere else to go, but there was mold growing all in that room, so we had to keep it closed off, and we were just worried about it just spreading to the whole place.
And then Destiny tells us why she never proposed to Amberlynn, which, interesting.
I think this is when Amberlynn had talked about, I think someone asked her about who she would want to propose, like if she wanted to or if I wanted to, and she was saying hopefully I would want to. I never proposed to her because we literally fought so much, and I wasn't sure if we would ever truly be happy together, like, because there was just so much fighting and tension, obviously off camera. We'd have good times, but the bad times were starting to outweigh the good times.
Makes sense. I mean, you're with someone you care about them, you don't want to break up with them, but you're also not sure if you really have a future together. I kind of understand that. We learned that Destiny also can't say plantar fasciitis.
I had like plantar fasciitis. She never remembered the second word to that.
So now they're in Kentucky, and they are living with Destiny's mom. We learned that Amberlynn never took a shower while they were living with Destiny's mom. Apparently her bathtub was a standalone bathtub in the middle, probably had high sides, and Amberlynn was not comfortable getting into the bathtub. So she took a, quote, whore's bath, probably, which is basically washcloth, sink, soap, and whatnot. Destiny would help her wash her hair, though. So we learned that.
And then another thing with being at my mom's, my mom had it wasn't a clawfoot bathtub, but it wasn't like a normal bathtub. I don't know how else to explain it. You see it in the videos a lot. Amberlynn did not shower the whole time we were at my mom's. She did not like the bathtub. She refused to even try to get in. I think she was having a hard time getting her leg over it. It was the thing, because it is pretty high sides. And she just basically, whore bathed. She just, she washed her hair. I'd help her wash her hair over the shower. And she just kind of washed with washcloths and wore plenty of deodorant. That's what she did.
We also learned that Amberlynn wanted to go to the hospital for any and every little thing. So I guess stubs her toe, goes to the hospital. I don't know.
I said Amberlynn wants to go to the hospital over any and every little thing. I don't know. Could just be anything. And she'd be like, I think I need to go to the hospital. And she was kind of becoming a hypochondriac, and I had to just be like, stop.
I will say that a lot of people, when they grow up without medical insurance, health insurance, or without like a family practitioner, doctor, the way to get medical care is to go to the emergency room. So if Amberlynn hurt herself, her thought would be to go to the emergency room because she probably never had insurance, although I think children are typically covered under like Medicaid, I think. But so I could be wrong on that. So a lot of people that grow up without a lot of money or grow up poor, their first thought when they're sick or not feeling well is to go to the hospital, because they can turn you away, but hospitals will not turn somebody away if they are in need of medical care. So that is why a lot of people that grow up without a lot of money or grow up poor have the mindset of go to the emergency room if you don't feel well or if something's wrong. Moving on from that, we learned that Amberlynn and Destiny's mom did not get along, and they were starting to argue a lot, and Amber was apparently very disrespectful to Destiny's mother, and Amberlynn apparently does not care if she's disrespectful or if she disrespects you.
This is also around the time my mom and Amberlynn start getting into a lot of spats about stuff. They started arguing quite a bit. Amberlynn's she's very set in her way or no way kind of deal. I don't know. That's just she doesn't care, like, if she disrespects you, basically. Like, she really just does not care to have respect. Like, we were at my mom's house living with her, and she still was, like, I don't know, if it had been the other way around, I was not going to try to argue with her mom, like, it was like a respecting your elders kind of thing. Even though you're not a child, you should still respect your elders. And my mom was also very stubborn and very argumentative as well, so it was a lot.
And I think this could also go back to what Destiny was saying about Amberlynn's bad attitude as well. So we learn, apparently, that they never took the cats to the vet, even though Amberlynn said they did.
She says at some point that we were going to take the cats to the vet, and that we had taken Wasabi to the vet. I never took these cats to the vet. Wasabi came with his shots, and with Jax, I think once he was with me and Dana, I went to the feed store and got his shots and just did them myself. Because you could do that. You can still do that, I'm pretty sure. You can get your shots at Tractor Supply if you need to.
Destiny said that until the time that she and Amberlynn broke up, they never took the cats to the vet. So that is possibly something that Amberlynn had misled her viewers about or just flat out lied about. She doesn't understand why Amberlynn is scared of going to movie theaters, because apparently they used to go a lot.
I also noticed that Amberlynn said something about being scared to be at the movie theater a lot. We went to the movie theater so much it was getting ridiculous.
I will say, though, that in the years since Destiny and Amberlynn have broken up, there have been issues in movie theaters with people being killed. I'm not monetized, so, but being in an enclosed space without, easy ways to get out, that can be frightening and scary for a lot of people that have either seen people go through those situations or have become scared of those situations. So, and that is the reason why Amberlynn gave for being afraid of movie theaters. Some people are just out of the habit and don't care to go after the whole pandemic, but Amberlynn's reasoning is because of issues that we have in the United States of people and firearms going into enclosed spaces where there are lots of people. And then one of the last things we learn is that Amberlynn has decided that she wants to do YouTube full-time. She and Destiny are looking for jobs, and Amberlynn's decided she wants to do YouTube full-time.
Amberlynn didn't want to get a real job. She only wanted to do YouTube. I don't know, we just kind of went back and forth on it a lot, but then she really ended up liking the job that we were going to have, so she ended up taking it, obviously.
Alright, that is going to be it for this video. This should be a short one today, I'm hoping. I'm not sure how long the clips are that I put in. But there were some other little tidbits in this video, but I'm going to leave this at that. And this was the first half of 2016 for Destiny and Amberlynn. What do you all think? Is this tea hot or is it cold? I think it's cold. Nothing too crazy in here, but we are getting Destiny's viewpoint and Destiny's side of some aspects of their relationship, which is interesting. I do know, I think a few videos from now, she talks about the breakup, so we'll see how that goes. But all that being said, that's all I've got for you on this one. So do all those YouTubey things, like, subscribe, all that jazz. And until next time, be safe and take care.